All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome to another episode on Code Cleric on YouTube. This is John. On this episode, I am going to try to quickly go over FZF, and we're going to install FD. We're going to write a couple scripts with these. FZF is a fuzzy finder. It is a very powerful search utility that allows us to rapidly search through files on our operating system. We're going to be using it on the Windows subsystem for Linux. There is actually some problems I encountered with this, but it works at 99% the way it's supposed to. FZF works fine. I was having some problems with FD, but we're going to use it anyway. I'm going to show you how I use these things and how useful they can be. I'm continuing this series, how to use Windows subsystem for Linux, how to use Z Shell, OhmyZSH, how to write your own custom scripts. Basically just trying to get you guys set up if you're using Linux to just basically supercharge your terminal experience. At some point, maybe later in the video, I might switch over to my desktop Linux so I can actually show you how I use FD, because it wasn't working the way that I wanted it to, and I'll show you that when we get there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. I want to try to get through this quickly. So first of all, I want to get over here to FZF. This is the FZF GitHub page. Let's go to the table of contents. Let's click installation. Okay. Now this actually is, in my opinion, this is the most reliable, easy way to do it. This works, but this is always going to work, okay? Because FZF is just a simple CLI that you can install straight from GitHub, and it's nice to learn how to do this because you realize, oh, I can just install stuff from GitHub. Yeah, so let's just copy this, paste it here. We want to install fuzzy autocompletion, keybindings. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now update home config zshrc. See, this automatically detected where our zshrc was, and it added this to the end of it. Okay, and it added this file to our home. So if we open up home, let's take a look. Now we've got this FZF directory, we've got FZF bash, we've got FZF zsh. It added this bash rc, which I had actually moved over into a bash folder. We could deal with that later. It's not really important at the moment, so we're not using bash, but really we can just leave these files here. Okay, and if we take a look at FZF zsh, okay, this key bindings is key, okay? How does FZF work? Okay, if we go to .config, we type FZF, you're going to see that a lot of files come up, okay? Now let's say we want to get to this bind.zsh. Okay, so we can do, we'll say AutoS, we'll say bind zsh. There we go. There it is. Okay, and now it pops right up here as something like we could copy, but really, like, this is standard output, so we could pipe this, okay? So we can use it in scripts really easily. But lucky for us, go back to the table of contents, and we go to keybindings for command line. They actually have some really handy commands already baked in. So because we said yes to keybindings, this should work out of the box. So Control T. Okay, let's go back to home. Let's do config. And let's do Control T. Let's try to get this same thing here. AutoS bind. Okay, now it copied it right into the command line. So now we can say, like, copy to home. Go home. There it is. Okay, so we can remove it. But yeah, this is a really useful command. Here's some customizations. Of course, you can read through the docs, and there's a lot more you can do here. But let's try this Control R. So if you remember, if we go to history, let's see, go to our ZDir, we set our history file to be this history right here. Okay, so let's open up that. Now this is all of our ZSH history. So these are all commands we've entered in the past. And just as a quick reminder, in our ZSHRC, this is where we set that. We export hist file, z.dir history. So you can have a custom history file. Okay, so if we forget a command, so like let's say I forget some command I entered with Python, where I symbolically linked Python 3 to Python, I can hit Control R, I can say Python, there it is. Now I know exactly what command that was. So that's really useful if you forgot a command. So Control R, very useful to search through your history like that. Okay. I mean, it'll go way back. So as long as it's in that history file, you can find it. Now, AltC is going to allow us to do an FZF search for directories, and then it's going to allow us to CD into that directory. So that's also very useful. So let's go into config so we get some results, because again, if we're up here and we do FZF, we don't have anything because this it's not including hidden by default. So everything's hidden. So we got to go into one of these folders that has something in it. And let's hit AltC. Okay. Now let's click any one of these, hit enter, and there we go. It automatically CD'd us right there. Okay, so that's super useful. Let's see. Now one thing I will note, we can go to our ZSHRC. If you are on, if you used the package manager installation rather than the Git installation, you may have to add FZF here to your plugins. I don't think it hurts, so I mean you can do it anyway, but yeah. Because when I used the package manager installation, so when I installed it using like apt get, the auto keybindings that we were just using weren't working, but when I added it to the plugins, they were. So you may have to add it to the plugins like that. Now I want to get into installing a couple of custom scripts with this. So that thing that we just did was jumping around using CD, or using AltC, and was CDing us into the result that we selected. That's super useful, but you can actually create custom scripts that are even more flexible. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. And for that, we're going to need to install this utility. I like to install this called FD. Okay, so let's grab that. Okay. Okay. Right. Do this. One second. All right. So what we need to do is, this is actually, the binary is fd find, and we want to make it fd. So we can do sudo ln-s, and I had already did this a minute ago, and this is why it's popping up. Fd find user bin FD. Now this is going to create a symbolic link with this target. So this is the FD find binary, and we're going to basically map that over to FD. We need sudo because we're doing this in the root. Okay. So now when we hit FD, so we can do FD, nothing comes up because it ignores hidden by default. But if we go into, again, a folder that has some stuff in it, we say FD, it's going to return an array with all of these files. Okay. And then if we do FD-T D, it is grabbing all of the directories. And we'll grab all from here. Okay, so it's going to return an array of the directories. All right. Now, let's see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over into scripts. And let's go to our functions folder here. I'm going to call it super CD from current. Okay. One moment. And I'm going to call it S. And I'm going to call results equals $, parentheses. Now this is going to execute in here, and then it's going to return it and capture it as a variable. So we're going to say fd-t d so this is type directory. We're going to pipe that into fcf1. I'm going to say cd result unset result, so we don't pollute the global namespace. So we're going to cd into the result of this. So let's go over here, let's go to .config, and let's say I'm going to actually remove this because I want to show you in a minute. So let's do S. Okay, and we can pick any one. Let's say auto cut, and automatically jumps just like that. Okay, let's write another one. Okay, say super CD from current show hidden. I'm going to call this S dot. And it's going to be the same exact thing. FD-T D, but we're also going to have this other flag, capital H. From current, just like that. And otherwise, it's going to be the exact same. Result, unset result. Okay. Now, let's give this a shot. Let's go back home. And let's do S dot. So now it's pulling up all of these folders. So now we can say config zsh custom. That one doesn't show up for some reason. I think it's excluded. Let's do plugins. There we go. There we go. But we automatically jumped, and this was actually a hidden folder from our home, but we were able to see it anyway because we have that in our script, just like that. So Now I'm going to show you another one. Let's do a root super CD. And I think you're starting to get the idea here. We can create a custom search, and we can just like jump into any folder that we want. So, but we can define where we want the actual search to be from. So we can say fd-h, we want to show hidden, and I actually don't even think we need that. We can do -t, d, okay, type directory. We're going to exclude. Let's exclude our home directory because we don't want any results from that. And then we're going to say dot from root. Pipe that into FCF. And CD. Actually, I didn't mean to do that there. There we go. CD result, unset result. Now let's give this a try. All right. So now we can like jump around to through our root directory as well. So this can be useful. I mean, unless you really know what you're doing, you're probably not going to need to search into the root, but sometimes you do want to find a directory in root, and this could be useful. Now where I was running into problems here with, I don't know what this is, what the deal is here with the Windows subsystem for Linux maybe, but on desktop Linux, I do not have this problem. If we go to the docs here in FD and we search exclude, okay. Now remember, we're using this and we're excluding like our directory. We don't want to include home, for example, in the one that we've used. Well, normally you can go down here and you can create this file here, .config/fd/ignore, and the file is just called ignore, and then you can add like this to it. Okay, so normally we should be able to do that. We should be able to go to let's say makedir .config/fd. Let's go here and let's say nano ignore. We should be able to add stuff here, like .cache. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see .cache or cache. But also, I would usually add this one. I would add, in this case, on our Linux. The problem is if we go back to the search root, and let's type in mount/c/users. Okay. You see now it's pulling up all of our Windows folders as well, because that we can access from root mount/c/users. And we don't really want to access all of those Windows folders. So normally you would want to add something like this to your ignore, just like that. But for whatever reason, it's not working in this Windows subsystem for Linux the way that I would expect it to. It's like it's not picking up that file. So let's try this. So see, it's still grabbing all of those files, which is unfortunate. Now this is where I said I would maybe pull up a desktop video and show you, but go over here again. Let's look at this. So yeah, you should be able to add stuff here. I think what I'm going to do instead, I think I still might tack a short video on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work around. So let's go to our scripts. And let's go to scripts. Okay. And instead of ignoring home, because see, we're actually already ignoring hidden. And if we wanted to search our home hidden, we would just go to home and then use s dot. Okay. Since we don't need to find hidden files in root, because usually there are no hidden files in root, what we can do is we could just ignore using this. We could just ignore it like that. Because normally, I mean, in your Windows subsystem for Linux, I mean, you might not have that much in your home anyway, so it might not be that cluttered. So we'll just ignore mount/c by default. Okay. So now let's give it a shot. See, now we're not pulling up all that user data. In fact, let's actually change this. Instead of ignoring users, let's just ignore mount/c in total. Just ignore all that. Okay. So, see, now we're only getting those folders in our Linux root. We're not getting all that clutter from Windows. So that is way, way better. Okay. Now one more thing that that we can do that's pretty useful, especially like if we're searching through root and there's thousands and thousands of folders, and you really want to find a very specific folder. Okay, I'm going to show you this one more thing here with this type of scripting. Let's go to cd scripts, nano functions, and then let's go to root super cd exact. All right, so we'll do s and I do /x. So result equals fd td dash e. So we're going to exclude mount/c dot root. Okay, and let's do -e for exact. So we pass in the e flag to FCF. It's gonna require us to enter exact phrases. Okay, so that's actually going to work better when we know the exact place that we're looking for. So let's do s exact. Now let's say I wanted to get to this sys devices. Okay, normally if I did like s dev, it would work, but in this case I'm going to just type devices and see it's coming up that way because I typed devices exactly. All right, so if you need to find a really specific place, so I mean in this case, let's say we wanted to go to CPU1, so we could do devices space CPU1, okay, slash, right, and then it would be that exact thing right there. So this is useful if we want to find something very specific in, say, our root, which is common. But you can always pass that -e flag into FZF as well. Okay, so let's actually do something else. So if I wanted to search those Windows files, if I did want to do that, what we could do is, let's create one, super CD Windows. Okay, so we'll do S/W. Okay, and then say result equals fd-td, and we'll just do dot, but in this case we're going to search the exact directory C, and then let's do users slash, I'm going to put my username, and then just like that. Right. So now if we want to search Windows, we can do /w, and there we go. Now we're searching our Windows files. So what you can do if you have, like, let's say you're on desktop Ubuntu, and I go to my .config/fd, and I go to my ignore. Now, this should work if you're on desktop. Okay, you can go in here and you can say, like, let's say you don't want to see your pictures and videos come up in your search, in your normal search, because let's say you have your code search and you have your picture search and you have your video search. So in that case, you could exclude media/pictures, and then you can exclude, well, it would be like home, right? So it would be like home/media/pictures. Exclude home/media/music. Okay, but if you wanted to have a search script where you searched through this stuff, then you could go here and you could write another one where it would be like s.music. Okay, so then you could write it just like this, and it would be fd-t directories search all in home/music. Okay, and then you would pipe it in just the same that we've been doing. So then it would search music, even though you've excluded it. If you go to that directory, it won't be excluded. So this is a way that you can, like, have your general search, and you can exclude all the directories that you want from your general search, but then you can go out and script more specific searches. So like on my desktop, I have a search for music, I have a search for videos, I have a search for documents, but I've excluded documents, music, and videos from my normal search. That way they're not cluttering up my normal search, because usually when I'm searching, I'm just searching my code. Okay, so when I do a normal search, it's just going to search through my code projects. But when I want to do a specific music search, I can just type s.m, and then it's going to search through my music. Okay, and actually I think you might need to do this just to be safe. You might need to do this. Okay, but yeah, that's how I have it set up on my desktop. And on second thought, I don't need to show you that because I'm showing you the code right here, and this is how you do it. So you just go here into your FD ignore, you put your stuff here, and then you go ahead and you write your scripts. All right, so that is a super useful technique that has saved me so much work, and it just allows me to teleport exactly where I want in my computer at any time. And it even works on this Windows subsystem for Linux if you do something like this, where we're going ahead and we have our Windows search, but then we have our root search where we've excluded Windows. Okay. Now, I know this video is getting long. I want to show you one more thing that I think is super, super cool. It is a function where we can use the power of FZF to copy and move multiple files at once. Okay, so let's go to our scripts. Nano functions. Open that anyway, close this. All right, let's go down here. Let's say copy multiple. I'm going to call it CPM. I'm going to say results equals parentheses, and then we're going to do $, another set of parentheses, and we're going to do FZF-M. So when we do FZF-M, so let's go somewhere we have something to search through. We do FZF-M. We can actually select multiple like this, and then it returns as an array. So we're going to use basically the same technique now, but then now we can write a loop. So now we'll go down here and we'll say -n double quotes $ results. This is kind of like an AND gate. If this isn't true, then this won't execute over here. So this is basically like a conditional saying if results is not 0, then CP-R. So we're going to use the recursive copy, and we're going to use this syntax. We're going to say results square bracket asterisk. And you need to pass in an argument to this, okay? And then after the fact, we're going to unset results. This should work. Let's go home and let's create a couple test files. Touch, test1, test2, and then blah. Well, now we'll say make dir. Okay, let's open up a new one to reload our scripts. Now let's say copy multiple into dir. All right, let's say, whoops, let's do this again. Missing destination operand after dir. I made a typo. Let's go back. Scripts. This should actually be angle brackets, like that. All right, fingers crossed here. Let's do CPM dir. Now if we check dir, it copied both of those files into there. Let's see here. Let's go back to zconf. go to scripts, nano functions. I don't know why this was picking up all of those hidden files. I'm really not sure. Shouldn't have been. But that's fine. That's fine. So we're going to do the same thing with move. Move multiple. MVM results equals $ FCF-M. Same thing for F in results. We're going to do MV F to 1. Let me say done, and then unset results. So each one of these results, we're going to move one by one into that new folder, or into that folder that we pass in. So let's give this a shot. So go here, right? Let's go to dir. Let's remove these for now. So you see it has nothing in it. Now let's move multiple to dir, and now we see they're not there anymore. They're not where they were, and they actually are right here in dir. So this is a nice little script that allows us to to move multiple files, and we can use FCF, so we can actually search anywhere in our computer, and we can grab files and move them right where we are or wherever we want. We can move files from anywhere to anywhere and select them from the search result list. We can do the same thing with copy. So these are some other useful commands that I've scripted out that I wanted to share with you. I use these pretty often, not as often as I use these, but I just think it's another nice little usage of this FCF tool. So FCF is totally awesome by itself, but since it outputs to standard output, you're able to then use that and create your own scripts as well. So that's kind of been the whole point of this video, is I wanted to show you FCF. I wanted to show you a few scripts that we can write with it, and just kind of give you some pointers on how to use it and how to effectively write your own scripts. And just, you know, I wanted to share this with you because I use this all the time. I think it's super awesome. You know what, before I close, I do want to show you one last thing, because we have this FCF color theme. So you can actually customize your color theme. If we go to our ZRC, okay, let's actually just do that. So we can copy this, just like this. FCF, we'll do SD. Customizes our color theme. So you can go in and you can tweak that however you want. This is just, I just wanted to show you, you can actually customize the color of the FCF prompt that comes up. All right, guys, that about does it for everything I wanted to cover in this video. I know this video got really long, but like I said, FCF definitely deserves its own video. I didn't want to tack that on to any other video. So like I said, I love using these search features. I love using these copy features. I think it's a little quirky on Windows Subsystem for Linux. So I mean, Windows Subsystem for Linux is great to be able to use your scripts and to be able to use things like Vim and FCF in Windows, but it does tend to work more seamlessly if you're just using native Linux. So on my dual boot, if I popped over to, I use Linux Fedora, this all works very flawlessly. So you know, that's really all I wanted to cover. In the next video, I want to explain how we can set up a .files directory, and we can use, I want to demonstrate Midnight Commander. And the reason why I'm going to bring that into the next video is because when you use your .files, you're going to want to start creating symbolic links. And symbolic links are easy enough to create, but it can get tedious because when you're doing your .files directory, it can quickly become massive to where you've got, you know, configs for this, configs for this, configs for that, configs for that. And each one of them, you're going to want to symlink. You're going to want to symlink every single file, which can get tedious. But if you have something like Midnight Commander, you will be able to use a keyboard shortcut to rapidly set up your symlinks. So your .files directory is going to allow us, so all this work we're putting into setting up our config, we only want to do once. And then next time that we install Linux on another computer, or you go to your work computer or whatever, then you can just very easily pull down your .files directory, pull all your configs, and then all you'll have to do is just install Midnight Commander on that computer and then do the symlinks again. And then boom, there you go. Now you've got all of your settings linked and ready to go. And it takes a matter of like 30 minutes and you will have all of your custom settings on a new computer. So it's super, super useful. It makes setting up a new machine extremely easy. And it's just, it's absolutely the way to go. And you can even do it on remote machines, which is even better. So yeah, and at a later time, I'll go into NVim, and that one you would want to include in the .files as well. But we're going to do that in the next video. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know these videos are long. Hopefully they're useful to somebody. All of this information has been crazily useful to me, but a lot of this stuff is stuff that I had to painstakingly figure out myself and Google like crazy to get all of these answers. So I'm sharing it with you guys. I know the videos are long, but you know, it's I'm trying to give you as much information as I possibly can. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please, give me some feedback. I am new to YouTube. I'm just trying to, build a little brand here. So I really appreciate each and every one of you that are watching these videos. Thank you so much and have a great day. Till next time.